Deep in Macau's digital underbelly, a brilliant hacker named Zhang breaches the police mainframe, seamlessly manipulating their live surveillance feeds. A tech-oriented officer catches a fleeting blip of static across his monitor, but shrugs it off as a harmless system glitch. Suddenly, a high-decibel alarm shatters the peace, flashing a red alert that a high-profile bank is being actively plundered. The precinct deploys its elite tactical unit while spinning up Spice, their state-of-the-art AI surveillance matrix. The algorithm combs every camera across the cityscape and flags the suspect's getaway vehicle, though the occupants' hands are bafflingly empty. As a fleet of patrol cars converges on the coordinates, they find nothing but a ghost street. Back at the command center, tech officers watch the target vehicle idling on their screens, finally realizing they are chasing a pre-recorded loop while the real thieves vanish into the night. By sunrise, investigators discover the crew breached just a single vault, one belonging to a tycoon who kept a physical notebook containing the vital first half of a password to a $500 million crypto cache. The heist shifts to Macau Tower, where the ruthless syndicate violently commandeers the headquarters of a prominent digital asset firm. Employees are brutally subdued and the entire office is taken hostage. A terrified worker is forced to unlock the server room door, allowing Xiao Xin to jack in and grant Zhang remote entry. But as they siphon the remaining half of the encrypted password, they stumble upon a massive revelation. This firm manages the treasury of the nation's largest crypto mogul, a military-grade account holding a staggering $10 billion. Ignited by greed, Zhang orders Xiao Xin to clone that data too, completely ignoring their leader, Leung, who demands they stick to the schedule and get out. Just then, a swarm of police cruisers arrives below, sending the crew sprinting for the elevator. Meanwhile, Leung sits calmly at a lobby cafe, blending in perfectly, though he inadvertently walks right through a barista's casual background photo. The moment the elevator doors slide open in the lobby, the cops spot the crew, igniting a chaotic high-stakes foot chase. The desperate criminals plow through panicked civilians to find an exit, but find themselves cornered as officers cut off their escape route. A brutal, highly synchronized martial arts brawl erupts. Using precision team tactics, the thieves manage to overpower Captain Yale, turning him into a human shield. With their superior held at gunpoint, the remaining officers are forced to lower their weapons, watching helplessly as the gang retreats back into the elevator with their hostage. Outside the tower, a cold-blooded Longshan commands his getaway driver to press the gas, completely abandoning his crew to save his own skin. Trapped in the rising elevator cabin, Captain Yao launches a desperate, one-man counterattack. Despite his fierce hand-to-hand skill, he is simply overwhelmed by four hardened criminals, who brutally beat him down and cuff him to a metal railing. The syndicate steps out onto the dizzying observation deck, but Yao pulls a hidden shim, unlocks his restraints, and charges after them. He is too late. The gang has packed parachutes and fearlessly leaps off the skyscraper into the open air. To delay pursuit, the fleeing thieves shove a passing woman over the rail, leaving her dangling by her fingertips over a deadly drop, forcing Yao to halt his chase to pull her to safety. With the elevator system still fried, Yao improvises a death-defying exit. He tackles a bungee jumper off the platform, plunging down the tower's side to land safely on an emergency inflatable cushion below. Another tactical unit waits in ambush on a neighboring hotel rooftop, sparking yet another vicious melee the moment the paratroopers touch down. The criminals easily dismantle the police line using specialized gadgetry, deploying smoke masks to blind their pursuers before base jumping down to street level. They quickly shed their tactical gear for civilian clothes, while Zhang works furiously on his tablet, purging camera feeds in real time to blind the Spice AI. With their digital eye completely shut down, Yao and his men are forced to sweep the hotel on foot. They activate their tactical body cameras, aiming to log every single face in the crowd, hoping the central database can flag a biometric match. Having made his way to the hotel in a slick disguise, Longshan orchestrates a series of loud, chaotic distractions, completely monopolizing the hotel manager's attention to keep the heat off his fleeing crew. The thieves weave through the hotel rooms, shifting effortlessly between tourist attire and employee uniforms to slip past the dragnet. Amid the chaos, Yao spots Xiao Xin, instantly recognizing a distinct earring from their elevator brawl. A frantic chase ensues through the corridors, but Xiao Xin manages to lose himself in a packed cafeteria, blending seamlessly with the dense crowd. Suddenly, the AI scanner flags an unregistered face in the lobby, prompting a squad to close in. Sensing the trap, Longshan intentionally collides with a pursuing officer, smudging the camera lens with grease. Taking advantage of the sudden blind spot, Xiao Xin makes his move, forcing the police squad to split up to pursue both targets. However, through clever quick changes with Xiao Xin donning a women's outfit and his partner transforming into a frail old man, the duo evaporates into the city. Down in the main lobby, a massive light festival is underway, allowing the remaining thieves to slip into the crowd disguised as event security. When the police finally flood the floor, the criminals drop into a stage decoration pit, escaping through a hidden crawl space beneath the platform. Later at headquarters, the victimized tycoon is throwing a raging tantrum, smashing office equipment after realizing his half-billion-dollar account has been completely wiped out. As the leadership strategizes their next move, Inspector Zumai insists on bringing back her legendary retired mentor to lead the task force. Yao scoffs at the idea, arguing an old-school dinosaur won't know the first thing about countering high-tech AI hacking, but Zumai counters with cold logic. Their fancy spy system is totally useless now that it's compromised. They don't need algorithms. They need a veteran who knows how to hunt predators the old-fashioned way. Officers Jin Xiao and Chuo are dispatched to track down and recruit the mythical Agent Wang, whose dossier reads like an impossible action movie. He is a decorated special ops veteran, a legendary hand-to-hand champion, and a master of firearms and deep intelligence tracking. The only blemish on his flawless record is a tragic operations failure that cost the life of his former partner. When the young duo arrives in a sleepy, quiet neighborhood, they are stunned to find the formidable legend living a mundane life, casually walking a pack of dogs. Chuo stalks Wang into a quiet cafe, sliding into a booth, and pretending to be an innocent university student. However, Wang coolly sits across from her, revealing he picked up on her and Jin Xiao's clumsy tailing hours ago, even casually greeting her by name. It turns out Chuo is the daughter of his fallen best friend, whom he hasn't seen since she was a little girl. Wang softly congratulates her on inheriting her father's badge number, before systematically breaking down every amateur mistake the duo made while trying to shadow him. To drive the point home, he casually slides Jin Xiao's service badge across the table, having pocketed it from the officer without him ever realizing it. Hours later, Wang stands in the police command center, intensely analyzing the fragmented body cam footage and the sparse hotel security clips salvaged before the cyber attack. After just a few minutes of scrutiny, Wang effortlessly identifies every single member of the heist crew. He points out a fatal flaw. Despite their high-tech gear, their old habits betrayed them. Each thief instinctively glanced directly at the hidden camera housings to verify if they were active. Meanwhile, at the syndicate's hidden warehouse, a furious Longshan brutally beats Zhang, enraged that the hacker's greed and wasted time nearly compromised the entire operation. When Xiao Xin steps in to shield the bloodied hacker, Longshan strikes him down as well. The old-school criminal is completely unhinged, terrified that his face has been captured on film after spending decades living as an untraceable ghost. The tension boils over into a full-scale mutiny. Longshan pulls a combat knife, forcing the entire crew to physically swarm and disarm their volatile leader, just to keep him from committing murder. Back at the precinct, Wong compiles the sparse facial profiles of the suspects, noting a recurring figure in a trench coat hovering in the background of multiple crime scenes. When the team receives the high-resolution photo from the lobby barista, they extract a crystal-clear image, confirming this man is the invisible architect of the crew. Wong immediately recognizes the face. It's a notorious rogue agent known as the Shadow, a lethal operative who served in an elite assassination squad during the war. He left the government in the 1980s to sell his skills to the highest bidder, vanishing entirely into the underworld in 1999. Convinced this ghost has returned to claim the $10 billion whale, Wong demands a dedicated surveillance unit to hunt him down. Zumai reluctantly explains that physical surveillance teams were disbanded when the Spice AI was implemented, but she grants him emergency clearance to build a grassroots squad from scratch. Wong is highly skeptical, knowing that real field surveillance takes years to master, not days. Later in the department gym, Chuo undergoes rigorous physical training, but a group of male officers loudly mock her, laughing that she is far too small and weak for real field work. Chuo tries to tune out the sexism, but her patience snaps. She challenges the loudmouths and unleashes a flawless sequence of martial arts, effortlessly neutralizing a massive officer in front of his stunned squad. Wong witnesses the entire beatdown from the shadows, offering her a private nod of approval afterwards, noting she just earned the department's silent respect. That night, Wong stands on the precinct roof with a bottle, staring into the city lights as he flashes back to the bloody night. Chuo's father died. He looks up at the stars, renewing a silent vow to protect the girl with his life. The following morning, Wong initiates a brutal crash course in traditional surveillance tracking, and Chuo is the first to sign up. He drills the raw recruits on the art of disappearing into a crowd, eliminating cop tells like rigid posture and forcing them to memorize microscopic environmental details. On their first live street exercise, the undercover team blends into the civilian populace, but Wong keeps Chuo inside the command van, designating her as his secret weapon. The veteran agent proves to be a merciless instructor, leaping out of the van to publicly roast any recruit who makes a tactical error. 12 days into the investigation, a stressed Zhang tries to map out one final, massive score to appease Longshan, so the fractured family can finally take their money and retire. He successfully locates the physical server housing the tech CEO's $10 billion fortune, but the digital firewall is a nearly impenetrable fortress. A poignant flashback reveals the deep bond holding this crew together. The thieves were all desperate street orphans, whom Longshan raised, financed, and protected. In return, the young boys put their lives on the line to hide Longshan, when the authorities launched a massive dragnet for him in 1999, forging a fierce, multi-decade loyalty. On the 15th day of active tracking, Chuo steps away from the stakeout to pick up lunch for the unit. On her trek back to the van, she spots a group of aggressive, intoxicated men physically assaulting a young woman. Inside the van, Wong watches through a lens and barks over the comms, reminding her that she is deep undercover and must call it into regular dispatch. But Chuo's moral compass overrides protocol. She cuts her comms and steps into the fray. A fierce brawl erupts, and while she holds her own and lands several crisp combinations, she is quickly surrounded and outnumbered by the heavy thugs. Just as the line is about to break, Wong materializes from the shadows, dismantling the entire gang of thugs in a matter of seconds, while the victim flees to safety. Back inside the van, an enraged Wong unloads on Chuo for jeopardizing a multi-million-dollar international investigation for a street brawl. When Chuo defensively snaps back that hiding in a van isn't real police work, Wong finally drops the heavy truth about how her father died. He reveals they were embedded deep undercover for 8 grueling months, and a young, arrogant Wong grew sick of waiting around for something to happen. When Wong saw a crew of human traffickers attempting to snatch a child on the street, he broke cover to play the hero, only to get cornered and nearly executed. Chuo's father broke cover to save him, taking a fatal burst of gunfire to the chest so Wong could live. Tears streaming down his face, Wong grabs Chuo by the shoulders, screaming that a real officer must always master their emotions and stay rational, because recklessness costs lives. Moments later, as the heavy silence hangs in the van, Wong's sharp eyes spot a familiar gate in the local open-air market. It's Longshan. Wong instantly triggers a code red, mobilizing the unit to quietly lock down the market perimeters. He instructs Chuo to tail the target up close, as she is the only operative whose face Longshan hasn't compromised. The tension turns razor sharp. When Longshan abruptly turns around, nearly spotting 2 undercover officers, they quickly grab each other and stage a passionate kiss to obscure their faces. Chuo seamlessly adapts, dropping to her knees to pretend she dropped a coin, using a small cosmetic mirror to capture Longshan's reflection and confirm his identity. Wong restrains his eager sniper, ordering everyone to hold their positions and let the target walk, ensuring the veteran assassin leaves with zero suspicion. The covert squad shadows him through the winding alleys, tracking him to a nondescript apartment complex. Driven by impulse, Chuo slips into the lobby behind him, but Longshan's hypervigilance triggers. He recognizes her code from the market and silently unsheathes his blade inside his pocket. Back in the command vehicle, Wong is obsessively replaying the market footage and notices a chilling detail. Longshan glanced back at Chuo twice. Realizing her cover is blown and she is walking into an execution, Wong charges into the lobby. He intercepts her just as the elevator doors open, loudly acting like an embarrassed, furious father, scolding his teenage daughter while subtly ripping the wire out of her ear. Wong masterfully diffuses the tension, turning to Longshan to make casual small talk about the building's layout, even offering him a fresh apple from his bag. As they chat, Wong angles the fruit, capturing a flawless high-resolution scan of the criminal's face via a pinhole camera embedded in the apple's skin. The duo exits the lift, leaving a slice of the apple on the floor, but a suspicious Longshan stands at the end of the hall, staring them down. Recognizing they can't leave the floor without triggering an attack, Wong uses a concealed pick to slickly pop the lock of a random apartment, ushering Chuo inside. The elderly woman, living inside, panics, forcing Wong to gently restrain her and muffle her screams to keep their presence hidden from the hallway. Thanks to the feed from the Apple camera, the surveillance unit tracks Longshan to the 8th floor. Jin Xiao sprints up the fire escape, rapidly planting a network of microscopic hidden cameras along the corridor. Within minutes, they strike gold. The feed confirms the ghost operative is operating out of apartment 8002. With the lair locked down, Wong's team rents an identical unit directly across the street, establishing a high-tech sniper and surveillance post while dispatching teams to intercept the syndicate's trash. They recover a massive cache of shredded Sudoku puzzles, but the department cryptographers are baffled. None of the puzzles possess mathematical solutions. Across the street, the highly paranoid Longshan sits in near darkness, obsessively popping sheets of industrial bubble wrap to soothe his frayed nerves. Days later at the local fish market, Wang continues his cover profile as a degenerate gambler living in the building. Longshan deliberately approaches him, engaging in friendly banter while subtly running a tactical sweep over Wang's clothing for hidden wires. As they discuss their fabricated hardships, Wang mentions his massive card debts, claiming the heavy calluses on his hands are from grinding late-night poker games rather than gripping firearm stocks. To the absolute horror of the surveillance team listening in, Wang casually invites the lethal assassin over to his place for a home-cooked dinner, and Longshan ice-coldly accepts. That evening, Wang and Chuo pay off the elderly neighbor to borrow her apartment, transforming it into a temporary stage. The moment Longshan crosses the threshold, his internal radar is on maximum alert, his eyes sweeping every crown molding and electrical socket for bugs. During the meal, he pointedly places his smartphone face up on the table. Chuo mirrors the action, placing her rigged device adjacent to his to initiate a high-speed wireless data clone. Longshan subjects them to a relentless psychological interrogation, testing their cover stories for microscopic inconsistencies. To survive the trap, Wang uses hyper-specific, real details from Chuo's actual childhood, causing the young officer to realize, with overwhelming emotion, that her father's partner has been silently watching over and protecting her from afar her entire life. The moment Longshan departs the building, he calls Xiang, ordering a scorched earth background check on the gambler and his daughter. The twist is revealed. The brilliant Xiang had covertly installed his own pinhole cameras in the hallway days ago. Knowing they are playing in a digital hall of mirrors, the police tech unit had already constructed ironclad fake digital profiles for the duo. Minutes later, a heavy knock rattles the door. Wang opens it, only to be met by a hail of fists from Zhang's lethal enforcer and twin brother Ziwang. A ferocious destructive martial arts battle explodes inside the cramped apartment. Wang executes a beautiful disarm shattering Ziwang's primary weapon, but the operative pulls a concealed backup piece and opens fire. Wang ducks behind the kitchen island as drywall disintegrates, before re-engaging in a grueling brawl that completely obliterates the living room furniture. Watching the live feed from his hideout, Zhang smiles. This chaos was the plan all along. During the tense dinner, his automated exploit had successfully breached Chuo's phone, granting him a direct backdoor into the central police network. The surveillance team across the street remains completely oblivious to the life or death struggle happening yards away, because Zhang has hijacked their monitors, feeding them a seamlessly looped video of an empty, peaceful apartment. Sensing something is structurally off, Chuo deliberately enters the target frame on the real feed, forcing the surveillance crew to realize they are looking at a fabrication. They instantly abandon their post and charge across the street. Spotting the movement on his monitors, Zhang radios his brother that a tactical squad is closing in. Ziwang unleashes a final, suppressing volley of gunfire to pin Wang down, before sprinting to the balcony and executing a flawless tactical rappel down the skyscraper's facade to a waiting vehicle. The next morning, the bruised surveillance squad returns to their street positions while forensic teams systematically tear apart Longshan's abandoned apartment. Investigating a massive cabinet stuffed with industrial bubble wrap, Wang's analog mind finally connects the dots. The unsolvable Sudoku puzzles weren't games at all. The grid configurations were coordinates designed to map out characters onto the bubble wrap, creating a highly secure physical braille code. Suddenly, a massive armored semi-truck slams into the surveillance van at maximum speed, sending the vehicle rolling violently through the glass facade of the central police precinct. The truck splits open, and after ramming the crumpled van a second time to ensure the squad is neutralized, a heavily armed platoon of corporate mercenaries pours into the lobby. A brutal firefight erupts. Several first responders are cut down instantly, as remote thermite charges detonate the line of police cruisers outside. Inside the burning command center, a bleeding Zumai realizes the precinct assault is an elaborate tactical misdirection. She radios the remaining street teams, ordering them to ignore the base attack and maintain their perimeter to prevent Longshan from slipping through the dragnet. Chuo regains consciousness amidst the wreckage of the van, dragging a concussed Wang from the crushed chassis before snatching a fallen submachine gun and entering the fray. She exhibits terrifying precision, picking off advanced mercenaries as they push through the rubble. Wang stumbles to his feet moments later, and the two operate as a seamless tactical unit, neutralizing the final wave of breach operatives inside the main lobby. Wang rapidly explains the riddle. The decoded bubble wrap rail contained the exact physical coordinates of the target data core. He orders Chuo to route the data to the crypto intelligence division so they can race the syndicate to the vault. While the remaining mercenaries launch a destructive room-by-room clearing operation through the precinct, the two surviving members of the street surveillance team track Longshan to a crumbling forgotten orphanage on the city's edge. Inspector Zumai prepares to patch in emergency air support, but the mercenaries detonate the precinct's primary power grid, plunging the command center into total darkness and severing all tactical communications. Inside the shadow-draped orphanage, Longshan steps into the main courtyard, only to find himself surrounded by a cartel hit squad. He instantly realizes that Zhang has betrayed him, selling him out to wipe him off the board. But the old ghost is a legendary apex predator. Despite his advanced age, he unleashes a masterclass in blade combat, systematically butchering the heavily armed assassins with his signature combat knife. He moves like a whirlwind through the corridor, though he takes several deep slashes to his arms and torso in the melee. Back at the burning precinct, Wang continues his solo war against the remaining mercenaries. The corporate soldiers are targeting him with extreme prejudice, driven by a massive black market bounty placed on the legendary agent's head. Wang migrates from room to room through the collapsing structure, absorbing heavy punishment, but executing lethal counter takedowns against every soldier who breaches his line. Meanwhile, Chuo navigates the smoke-choked administrative offices until she uncovers an active satellite phone. She rapidly dials Jin Shao on the street to relay the decoded braille data, but her transmission is cut short when a massive mercenary blindsides her. A vicious, no-holds-barred struggle ensues. Despite the soldier's massive size advantage, Chuo leverages her momentum, hurling the heavy operative through a glass window to a multi-story drop below. Fortunately, sirens wail in the distance as heavy police reinforcements finally breach the precinct lines, systematically neutralizing the remaining hostiles and securing the complex. Out at the bloody orphanage, a heavily bleeding Longshan stands over a mountain of corpses, pointing his crimson blade directly at Zhang's hidden surveillance camera in a declaration of war. But before he can move, Jiwang steps out from the shadows, coldly admitting that the cartel ambush was his personal design, not his brother's. Back at the mainframe, a panicked Zhang screams into his headset, horrified because his brother's mutiny completely deviates from the plan. Jiwang ignores the audio, declaring that Longshan is an unstable relic who is too dangerous to be left alive, before drawing his twin blades and launching an attack. Both men are elite, world-class killers. They trade a series of devastating bone-shattering strikes before crashing violently through a second-story window into the mud below. Struggling to his feet, a stunned Jiwang looks down to find Longshan's combat knife buried deep in his abdomen. Before he can counter, Longshan drives the blade home, executing his favorite surrogate son with a cold, hollow stare. With sirens echoing across the perimeter as tactical teams encircle the orphanage, a devastated, weeping Zhang realizes his brother is dead. Left with no cards to play, he remotely triggers the emergency demolition charges embedded in the building's foundation, leveling the orphanage in a massive fireball. Sometime later, a soot-stained Zumai reveals a devastating security breach to Wang and Chuo. Following their initial tower raid, she had quietly transferred the tech mogul's $10 billion crypto asset to the secure servers within the precinct basement for safekeeping. But when forensics opens the vault, the drives are gone. The tactical play is laid bare. During the chaotic mercenary raid, Zhang's remaining operatives dressed in pristine police uniforms, blending seamlessly with the incoming backup units. While the department was desperately extracting their wounded from the rubble, the thieves calmly walked into the security hub and cleaned out the vault. Back at the smoldering ruins of the orphanage, a blood-soaked Longshan crawls out from beneath the concrete debris, weeping bitterly over the charred body of Ziwang. When a wall of tactical shields and laser sights locks onto him, the broken assassin slowly raises his hands, offering a complete surrender in exchange for medical care. Back at the partially restored precinct, Zumai reinitializes the Spice AI network. With the localized jammer destroyed, the algorithm takes a fraction of a second to flag the thieves' getaway van traveling at high speed. The task force corners the vehicle at a luxury hotel casino, forcing the desperate thieves to scatter into the dense, subterranean service corridors. Wang tracks Zhang down to the industrial laundry facility, igniting a fierce hand-to-hand struggle amidst the roaring machinery. Suddenly, two elite syndicate enforcers cut into the fray, ordering their mastermind hacker to run while they tag-team the veteran agent. The duo operates with terrifying hive-mind synchronization, giving a fatigued Wang immense trouble keeping up with the dual assault. Outside the resort, Chuo sprints through a massive high-society gala happening on the main floor. She correctly calculates that Zhang will attempt to lose himself in the high-wealth crowd, but the sea of elegant masks makes visual identification nearly impossible. Inside a mobile command vehicle, Yaole slides a burner phone across the table to a handcuffed Longshan, demanding he dial Zhang's encrypted line to pinpoint his location. Unfortunately, the thieves' network utilizes rolling proxy servers, forcing Chuo to manually scan the massive ballroom for any individual actively operating a satellite comms unit. Through the receiver, Zhang instantly detects the heavy rhythmic breathing of his captured mentor, and realizes Longshan is intentionally burning time to let the police trace the signal. He severs the connection and sprints for the transit tunnels. Remembering Wang's core doctrine on tracking human habits, Chuo scans the upper rafters and spots a man instinctively scanning the security camera positions. It's Zhang. Before she can call it in, the hacker uses a pocket jammer to fry her earpiece with high-frequency static. Down in the steam-choked laundry room, Wang adapts to the dual assault. He leverages a heavy steel iron to fracture the knee of the first enforcer, before physically hoisting the second operative and locking him inside an industrial washing machine drum. Meanwhile, inside the police transport vehicle, Longshan drops his phone, using the split-second distraction to execute a brutal handcuffed assault against his guards. He intentionally triggers an officer's tactical tear gas canister, leveraging the blinding, suffocating chaos to break his restraints and incapacitate the entire transport crew. After freeing himself, a vengeful Longshan dials the police channel, coldly detailing Zhang's exact escape route and physical disguise to the dispatcher. Jin Xiao intercepts Chuo in the mezzanine, ripping off his own active earpiece and thrusting it into her hands before diving back into the crowd to continue the hunt. Wang maneuvers through the lobby and tackles a suspect matching the description, only to realize Zhang had already stripped a civilian and forced a clothing swap. Currently, a desperate Zhang is sprinting through the crowded turnstiles of the adjacent central train station, with a silent Jin Xiao tracking him closely, unable to alert the team due to the fried comms. Suddenly, Longshan materializes from the crowd like a phantom, slamming into Jin Xiao and burying a blade deep into the young officer's ribs to eliminate any interference. The old assassin then stalks a terrified Zhang into a blind corridor, driving his blade into the hacker's chest multiple times before twisting the steel to ensure the wound is terminal. As life fades from his eyes, a wheezing Zhang whispers the final unclonable crypto password into his master's ear, paying his debt before collapsing onto the concrete. While tactical teams successfully secure the surviving syndicate members in the laundry facility, Chuo follows the trail of blood to the train platform, cradling a dying Jin Xiao as he takes his final breath. Weeks pass, and the department hits a total dead end. The stolen $10 billion crypto fortune remains entirely stagnant in the blockchain ledger. Wang reviews the financial files and notes Longshan's psychological profile. He is a mid-century, analog ghost who hoards physical gold and bubble wrap. Chuo has a sudden epiphany. Longshan has absolutely no concept of how to launder or liquidate digital cryptocurrency without a hacker to guide him. The veteran duo returns to the streets for traditional stakeout work, while Wang is away picking up supplies. Chuo's sharp eyes spot the victimized tycoon from the initial bank heist entering a secluded luxury hotel. She shadows him to the penthouse floor, covertly intercepting a communication revealing that Longshan has reached out, offering to sell the password back to the tycoon in exchange for untraceable physical currency. The exchange is scheduled to take place at a traditional high-end tea house in the city's historic district later that afternoon. Instead of waiting for the task force to assemble, an emotional Chuo breaks protocol and enters the tea house alone, but the hyper-alert Longshan spots her the moment she steps through the door. She masterfully engages him in a tense psychological dialogue, manufacturing a conversation to burn vital minutes while the precinct silently deploys a hard perimeter around the city block. Hearing the faint synchronized click of tactical boots on the exterior pavement, Longshan snaps. He delivers a devastating strike that knocks Chuo unconscious before sprinting for the rear exit, only to find the heavy wooden door blocked by the towering figure of Agent Wang. Left with no escape, the rogue assassin pulls his blade, launching a savage, lethal assault through the crowded tea house. Panicking patrons flee through the windows as the two legendary warriors engage in a brutal, no-holds-barred duel. Wang takes several deep slashes to his forearms and torso as he attempts to disarm the killer. In a desperate maneuver, Wang seizes a boiling iron tea vessel, hurling the scalding liquid directly into Longshan's face to break his momentum. They crash through tables and partitions, completely pulverizing the antique furniture before spilling into a low-clearance storage cellar, forcing both bleeding men to continue the brutal knife fight on their knees. Longshan drives his blade, deep into Wang's thigh, but the veteran operative channels the pain, executing a powerful leg extension that sends the assassin crashing back into a massive stack of heavy wooden crates, burying him beneath the splintered wood. As Chuo stumbles back to her feet in the main room, the floorboards above buckle under the immense weight, and both bleeding men crash violently through the ceiling, landing hard on the main floor. Longshan recovers first, raising his crimson blade to deliver an execution stroke to a grounded Wang. Chuo charges from the flank, delivering a flying strike that shatters the assassin's jaw and draws his lethal focus onto her. Wang drags his bleeding body forward to intercept the strike, and in the chaotic tangle of limbs, Longshan's razor-sharp blade slices cleanly across Wang's neck. Chuo tackles the killer with raw fury, pinning him to the deck, but the slippery assassin uses the momentum to break her grip, sprinting into the labyrinthine alleys, while Chuo stays behind to apply pressure to Wang's spurting neck wound. Fortunately, the blade missed the jugular by mere millimeters. Refusing to let another father figure die, Chuo leaves Wang with the arriving medics and charges into the rain after Longshan. Utilizing every micro-observation lesson Wang drilled into her, she tracks the subtle trail of displaced mud and blood through the winding corridors, successfully cornering the target and pinging her live coordinates to the tactical net. Operating as a flawless machine, the emergency squad completely seals the surrounding block, trapping a cornered, heavily bleeding Longshan. In a final desperate act of defiance, the ghost operative lunges at Chuo, but his severe blood loss and exhaustion betray him. She effortlessly counters his line, executing a beautiful hip throw that slams him into the wet asphalt before pinning his arms and clicking the steel cuffs over his wrists. The ultimate ghost of the criminal underworld is finally broken, and the exhausted department lets out a collective roar of victory. Meanwhile, deep within a high-tech subterranean bunker, in an undisclosed western country, a monitor flickers to life. The digital interface reveals a terrifying variable. Zhang and Jiwang possessed a third identical triplet, who was quietly adopted by an ultra-wealthy foreign family as an infant. Having intercepted the high-resolution audio feed from the train station security camera, the third brother calmly enters the exact crypto password into his terminal, unlocking the frozen $10 billion empire. With a cold, calculated smile, he moves a fraction of the stolen fortune into a secure dark web matrix, authoring an international multi-million-dollar assassination contract on Agent Wang, Officer Chuo, and the imprisoned Longshan.